Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to another Pastel Painting Friday. Today we'll be painting the portrait of another Billiard Academy friend of mine named Rob. So thank you so much, Rob, for letting me paint your portrait here on YouTube. Welcome, Grace. Welcome, everybody. And let's go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna go ahead and place the top of the head. Bottom of the head will be somewhere about there. I'm using the cheaper paper today, the mixed media. So this is the Strathmore toned blue mixed media. And the reason I'm using it is because it is softer, not softer, it's smoother than the other one. And I've been experimenting with these are the Sennelier oil pastels. So these are the Sennelier, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, oil pastels. And I have not linked them in the description yet because just like when I tried those pan watercolors, those pan colored, the watercolors in the pan, I don't have enough experience with them to recommend them to you just yet. I know that this paper works quite well, so I can, with full confidence, say that this paper is a good investment for you. As in, it's not that expensive, and this blue color is kind of perfect for portraiture. Hey, Uncle Earl, Mark L. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Marco. Welcome, Marco. How long have I been painting? I think you was going to atelier classes 3 or 4 years ago. You remember the girl in the red dress? Um, that was a while ago. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've been painting professionally for 16 years, meaning, doing the classical realism stuff, yeah, for 16 years. And I've been drawing pretty much all my life, drawing and painting all my life. And I did mostly like anime drawings when I was in middle school, and then I started drawing cars, uh, probably like around 8th grade or something like that. Um, my mom still has my first drawing from when I was 4. So I was 4 years old and my first drawing. As do a lot of kids. A lot of kids have their first drawings when they're 4 or 5 years old, even younger. But yeah, 16 years for like the sake of this, what you're gonna see here today. 16 years. And I was fortunate. I had really good teachers. Um, like some of the best in the area, best in all of the East Coast. So pretty fortunate with that. What's going on, Hansel dog? So yeah, everybody, this is another friend of mine from Streetlights Billiard Academy. Streetlights Billiard Academy, Billiards Academy in Alexandria, Virginia. Rob, the model that we're painting here, is actually, in my opinion, probably one of the top 5 best pool players in the academy. He used to own his own academy as well in the past. He has a degree in astronomy. Very unique guy. Also used to grow Carolina Reapers, the pepper that I bought. And I did eat a small piece of it, the Carolina Reaper. I don't recommend it. I did it anyway just because I had to get that over with. I don't recommend anyone doing that. And no, I didn't video it because I don't like trying to seek attention for eating hot peppers. Hey, Giselle. So you found me when I had like uh 10K subscribers. Oh wow. No way. That's a long time ago. Yeah, I started YouTube in 2017. Wow, thanks for being a long time subscriber. It's an honor. Yeah, it's an honor to have you here. So in the beginning, of course, it looks a little strange, like almost too smiley, but don't worry, we'll get the subtlety in here. Now, here's the big difference between oil pastel and soft pastel. This is oil pastel. So here's a major difference. And in my opinion, this makes it much harder to use oil pastel. And that is that you actually want to cover with more pressure than with soft pastel. So I'm basically going to dig right into the shadow, putting more pressure. And this is, see how much pressure? So that was too much pressure and I snapped the pastel. This is raw umber. And I'll tell you why I'm using the oil pastels in a second. I haven't drawn the peppers yet. No, I need to. I'm thinking I'm going to probably just do a watercolor of the peppers before they go. So the reason I'm using these is I got each one of these for $3 and something cents. Each one of these I got for $3 and something cents. Hey Marco, yeah, I've got a lot of hair now. Definitely. Uncle Earl, your favorite person you'd like to see do more Rembrandt style with pastels? You got it. We'll do that today. Today we will do Rembrandt style with pastels. And in order to do that, well, we need light and shadow. So this is the major difference between oil pastel and soft pastel, is that you want to go in pretty heavy. Something nice about oil pastel as opposed to soft pastel. See how I'm covering this area really kind of broad? See that? So with more pressure, you can actually fill all of the paper. And that's something I didn't quite like with the soft pastels, was that you wouldn't be able to fill in the entire paper. So I kind of like that. Now this is gonna be kind of a weird thing. Let's see. So Giselle wrote, I was going to ask you to use oils since I don't have soft pastels. Oh, okay, good. I read your mind. I'm a mind reader. Marco, you wrote, paint, draw every day. I'm at the academy right now. Let's see. But I used to practice so much more 2, 3 years ago. Yes, I do paint and draw every day, even Sundays. I don't live stream every day. I live stream 4 days a week. So Tuesday through Friday. But yes, I do paint every day. I've been practicing a lot of, and by a lot, I mean a lot, with watercolor. And yes, I know that this is going to be a little strange that you're seeing me put blue in here. And this is cerulean blue. But when I did my first practice of this painting, I realized really quickly that I needed a bluish undertone there. So that's why I'm going back and forth with the blue. So he has really nice silver, white, gray hair. And in order to get that grayish shadow, what I'm probably going to do is buy just a gray color oil pastel. And with pastels, oil pastels, you definitely need more colors than you do with soft pastel. However, from what I've figured out, see, I finally got the gray. So what I've figured out is this is going to be really important for anyone that wants to use oil pastel to do portraits. It's kind of a different process, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Yes, it is like oil painting without brushes, absolutely. So what I did was I bought a brownish color that looks just like the yellow ochre, and I actually don't know if I can distinguish between them. So let's check these out. And see, you can't really distinguish between the two. So let's just use, actually you can. So this is yellow ochre, and this is the brown. You may not be able to see it on camera. So this is the brown. So what I've figured out is to just cover the skin tone with this brown. Pretty much just like you would with oil paint. Cover the entire thing. So don't be afraid to apply a broad area. This is a brownish color that looks almost exactly like yellow ochre. And you can do this with yellow ochre as well. Cover the whole thing. And it's going to look a little weird at first. Now, one thing I don't like so much about the oil pastels is you kind of go through the sticks pretty quickly, which makes sense why they sell these huge ones at the store. I mean, they sell some really, really big ones. But you do go through the pastels really quickly. Marco, do you ever fail a painting or find ways to fix it? Oh yeah, I mean, I always have like ups and downs with the paintings. Yeah, what I typically do is if I'm not happy with the way that a painting looks, especially if it's like a long-term studio painting, then I tend to kind of just ignore it for a little while. We're going in with a reddish color here. That color is going to go over here. I tend to kind of put it away for a while. Here's the next step to this process. It's a really, again, another really important step is to buy something really close to a skin tone. This is a pink. This is a pink. So you're gonna need a lot more pastels with the oil pastels than you would with the soft pastels. With the soft pastels, you can mix with them a lot more. The oil pastels, they kind of just, you apply them and then that's it. The blending and the rendering and all that stuff requires a pretty good layer underneath from what I've been experimenting with. So it's different than what you would see with soft pastel. But the texture of the finish looks a lot like an oil painting. So that's a really good thing. We want that. Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. What's up? It's good to see you. First of all, how are you okay? Because, the hurricane just went by, and I know that you're in Georgia, so I hope that you're all right. Hope that you didn't have too much property damage over there. Hey Marco, yeah, I'm on Instagram as a Yupari artist, or am I? I don't actually. Yupari Fine Art, I think. I created that Instagram before I started doing YouTube, and I tried to change the name, and it like wouldn't let me. So I'm on there as a Yupari Fine Art. Oh, okay, so you're okay. That's good. Yeah, of course. I worry about everyone's safety. So again, everyone, I won't create links for these pastels yet. This is only my I think, I don't know, maybe fifth oil pastel portrait, I think. I'm not sure how many I've done, but not very many. So I literally had to brainstorm how to start with the oil pastels. But yeah, the cerulean blue is really important. You said more layering and cross hatching, soft pressure works for you. I went in with the more pressure faster because I wanted to cover all the little open areas and get the chance to mix. So Mark, you said it destroyed an art district in Asheville, North Carolina. That's not good. Marco. Well, that's kind of difficult. I got lucky. My my wife is very much into the arts. She does her own um, more illustration type artworks. But yeah, it is kind of difficult. I probably should have titled this oil pastels, come to think of it. Because when I created the link or the information for the stream, I wasn't using the oil pastels yet. This is a medium. again by this brand Sennelier, however you pronounce it. It's more kind of like a blender though. You can blend oil pastels with whatever finger paper towel, soft Q-tips. Oh yeah, later you're gonna see me use a brush and a couple different instruments. Oh, thanks, Marco. Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, the art district that got destroyed, that's terrible. And this is what you can do with the blender. You can create these transitions here. So this is an oil pastel medium. So it's basically just a pigmentless pastel. Excellent invention. I bought it off of a whim, just randomly. I thought might as well. Yeah, so I hope everybody's all right. I know that that storm was pretty rough. As you can see, it is pretty fast if you can layer them, like plan the layers out. I am 33. 33 years old. Which is still relatively young. Yeah, this soft pastel is almost, or not soft, this oil pastel piece is almost going to be retired. Luckily, I have another part of it. Just gotta tear it up. It does get real sticky. This pastel feels almost like, kind of like clay. Kind of, it basically is clay in some way. Thanks, Marco. What would I tell my 25-year-old self? I'm assuming you're 25, so that's what you're asking. Um, I would tell my 25-year-old, well, at age 25, I had just met my wife, who back then was my girlfriend. Um, and so I went to the academy, Studio in Caminati in 2011. So at 25, I already had um, experience from the atelier. I would tell my 25-year-old self to start learning different materials. Because back then I had pretty much only used oil paint, and only recently have I been, doing using other materials. So yeah, I would tell my 25-year-old self to start using different materials, experimenting. Also start planning studio paintings ahead of time, even like a year ahead of time. I started YouTube at 27, I think. I was 27. I might have been 26, I don't know. 26 or 27. A good question. Hey, Libertas, welcome, welcome. Yeah, and anybody that wants to have a career in art, you can definitely do it. There's way more opportunities now than when our parents were in school. With technology continuing to grow, the arts are just going to get more and more uh, lucrative. Who would have known during Bob Ross's time that we would have this live streaming platform where basically, it's not so much about galleries and marketing. It's about your ability to, basically perform under pressure. Oh, thanks, Uncle Earl. Thanks, Grace. Yeah, I totally forgot to text Rob the link for today. Oops. And next week, I've already got the pictures lined up for Wednesday. We'll do another member of the Academy. I think for watercolor, we'll do another artist from that group in Baltimore. I'm gonna text. Her name is Karen. Karen Warshall. I'm gonna text her tonight. See if they're meeting tomorrow. I'll paint another artist from that group. This is also a demonstration on how to paint a smile. He kind of always has this very confident smile. So I let it slide for this one. I usually don't ask people to smile. I didn't ask him to smile. This is just how he was. Pretty cool guy. Again, he's a retired astronomer. Yeah, rest in peace to Bob Ross. But hopefully we're gonna pick up his legacy. I'm speaking of all of us artists, content creators. We've got big shoes to fill. Using art to bring something positive into the world is the goal. Making a living doing that is the dream. I'm living the dream at 33. Oh, of course you can get a likeness this quickly. And remember, it's not so much about the speed. You can definitely get a likeness quickly. Light and shadow are the biggest things. And here's something you can use for your backgrounds with pastels, especially if you're using the more expensive Sennelier pastels. He has a twinkle in his eye when you say he was an astronomer. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Marco. Well, yeah, this is the cheap pastel, by the way. This is Expressionist. These are like 79 cents each. Use these for the backgrounds. So I'm gonna go and put the background in quickly. Well, by age 40, I would hope to, have included sales at that point, along with my streams. My goal is to do these for the rest of my life. To me, this is not so much a way for me to sell something to you as it is a means of creating, um, to me, this is kind of like theater in some way. This is a form of art to me. But yeah, this is the cheap oil pastel that I'm using for the background. It's important to have a value in the background. Kind of like a chocolate color. Anybody remember the song Chocolate Rain? Yeah, this is a cheap pastel. You notice the difference right away with the cheap ones. Like with the cheap one, it's just like it's so much harder to layer with it. It almost hurts my wrist to use it. This is the cerulean blue. And we're putting in kind of a reddish tone. Back to another red. This will start to go by the ear. And we're using kind of that cross hatching type effect. And that's just because the shadow isn't obviously going to be that dark the whole time. And now what I'll do is put in some of the little reflections back here. Marco, do you take pride in being an artist? Weird question, but I always used to be shy about it. Like it's not a real job, but the more I know and respect how hard you have to work for it, the more I take pride. Oh yeah, I totally take a lot of pride in being a full-time artist. And yeah, the billiard academy that I go to in Alexandria, Virginia, all of these guys are so supportive of me as an artist. Like the academy director, his name is Dion. He's got like a wall, and I'll do a little video there at some point in the future. But he's got like I've got like a whole wall dedicated to my paintings there. This one's gonna go there as well. Um, so I've always been treated really well by other people with respect to my work. I have not been treated well by family with respect to being an artist when I first started. Of course, now, yeah, of course they're proud of me. And in the beginning, my family, my uncles, particularly my uncles, were very like upset that I wanted to pursue painting as a means to make a living. And it took some convincing of what I was able to do when I went to Incaminati, that they were somewhat supportive. I still got some uncles that I don't talk to. I haven't spoken to in more than 10 years because of that. And but yeah, you should definitely take pride in yourself as an artist. A lot of work goes into this. There's a lot of problem solving that goes into art as well. But yeah, but it's good to have a plan as to how you're going to make your income. I knew early on in my mid 20s that I wanted to pursue a career in video, painting videos. And it was only I guess, in 2020, um, or was it 2019? I don't remember. But whenever I started doing my first live streams, that I was like, this is a lot. This makes more sense because I don't have to edit. I used to be afraid of like saying something dumb or whatever. And I do say some dumb things once in a while, but I mean, we all do. 2017 was really when I, I started uploading videos and doing voiceovers and taking pictures of people so I could paint them, just like we're doing here. But in 2017, it used to take me a week, multiple days to do a painting like this. So over the years, I had to learn how to be faster with it so that I could do it in one stream, one video. Yeah, my mom was definitely supportive. My mom was the first person I did a portrait painting from life. Yeah, no, my mom, she wasn't very supportive in the beginning. Like when I was in high school, she was not very supportive. And I mean, who can blame her? I mean, our parents just want the best for us. I don't blame her now. If I had a kid, I would do everything I could to teach them, life skills And if they wanted to do something that I wasn't too familiar with, like if I had a kid and my kid said, I want to be a professional pogo stick athlete, that would scare me a little bit. But, I would want them to be happy and do the best that they can. And yeah, my mom eventually she became more supportive. And now my mom is pretty happy that I'm doing what I'm doing and I enjoy it and I do it every day. And I get to make a living doing what I enjoy every day. So it's possible. It's just really difficult. Yeah, I can do a Da Vinci or Rembrandt. We actually did do a Rembrandt in pastels. We can do another Rembrandt or do a Da Vinci in pastels. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my advice to anybody that wants to have a career in the arts is get really, really knowledgeable with technology. Become as knowledgeable as you can with technology. Take some math courses. I know it doesn't might not make sense right away, but there's a lot of problem solving in art, or just take business classes. But I have a degree in math. That's what I did after my uh, family kind of convinced me not to do art. Of course, I didn't listen. I went to school, I got a math degree, but I was always painting the whole time. So, Marco, you say you grew up without a dad, had a stepdad, but it took me many years to accept him. In my brain, getting used to. Oh, yeah, I understand that too. I also, well, my dad died when I was 13. I was 12 or 13. And I also grew up with a stepdad, and it did take me a while to, be okay with him. Um, as we are young kids growing up, it's tough for us to accept the way the world is. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from there. But I mean, my stepdad was also pretty supportive of me as well. Not so much in the beginning, of course, but he eventually went on to build a frame for me once when I entered a gallery. Not a big gallery, just a local gallery. But yeah, support from family and loved ones is huge, and sometimes we have to do it without their support too. But if it's truly your passion, if it's anyone's passion, you're gonna do it regardless of what people say. Yeah, of course, Marco. Yeah, and also don't try, and I know this is difficult to do, but try the best that you can to think about doing what you enjoy doing, you know, with painting, and just try to not get to a point where you don't have to think about it. Do it so much that you get to the point where you don't have to think about it. The more you internalize the more you internalize your fundamentals, the just the stronger you'll be. But know that there's always hope. Things may look grim sometimes, like it did for me last week with the whole problem with there was a leak in the bathroom, and I didn't know if my wife wanted to renew the lease. I wanted to stay here, and luckily I convinced her that we'd be better off staying here. And all that stuff was difficult, but it really motivated me to work even harder, to do more. So it really is a job, but if you enjoy it, it's kind of like you never have to work a day in your life. And you can do it, but you got to work harder than everyone else. Period. Like, some people do upload one video a week, two videos a week, do one live stream a week, two live streams a week. They do oil paint, acrylic, charcoal, pen and ink, ballpoint pen. I don't know, I'm just exaggerating. Well, we've got 12 hours a week, four different materials, technically five since I'm using oil pastel. And we'll make it. Don't worry. We will. We will make it. Yeah, Giselle, that was something that Robin Fry, spelled Frey, an artist that I lived with in Philadelphia back when I went to Student Caminati. That's something that she would say. Do what you love and the money will come. Well, I believed her. I did the best I could, and I guess it's working. But there's way more to do. Never just be satisfied with where you are. Always strive for more. That's it's the way that I live my life, which makes it very difficult to be an amateur pool player. Well, I'm basically a beginner pool player, but I've been doing that for more than 2 years now, and it really taught me to appreciate painting because it's something that I started when I was really young. I had the right teachers, but just in the right environment from the very beginning. Yeah, do what you love and the money will come. That does work, but you've got to put in more time than anybody else. And relying on talent alone is it's not enough. Talent is just a start. It's a pursued interest. If you have a talent in something, it probably means you really enjoy doing it. So you put in more mental energy towards it. Marco, I do not plan on having kids at any point in my life. Uh, Luckily, the wife feels the same way. And yeah, we made that decision a long time ago. Mainly because, the world, the way it is, it's kind of messed up. I mean, it's kind of a pessimistic way of looking at things. All right, so now we'll start to put in the background on the opposing side. Again, this is the cheaper pastel. Buy the cheap pastels for the backgrounds. You don't want to use up all your uh, higher quality pastels in the background. He's also got some sunglasses up here, and he tends to always have the sunglasses. So I'm going to put the sunglasses in right before I cover that. So let's go ahead and put that in now. He always has these sunglasses. Almost always has them. He's a cool guy. Always got the sunglasses. So it would be, in my opinion, it would be wrong to paint him without them. So we're going to add these in here. Yeah, he's almost always got these sunglasses. Giselle wrote exactly. More you love and enjoy, the more you will do. Other mediums I've worked with are clay and paper, mache, full-size Dalmatian, and bulldogs. Oh, cool. The sun is always out when you're cool. Yeah, yeah, he is pretty cool. He's got his sunglasses going on here. Yeah, and it wouldn't have made sense to paint him without them. And a lot of artists, I don't like when artists do that when, somebody wears glasses and they don't paint the glasses in. Just learn to paint the glasses. Don't be afraid of them. I mean, that's just in my opinion. Well, of course, Hugo is like a kid. Yeah, of course. I consider him my son. Yeah, he is like a kid. And I have taught him a lot of stuff. is the medium. That will help blend things in. Fur baby, definitely. Yep, Hugo is my boy. I bring him to the billiard academy all the time. Well, as you know, in the video. Yeah, Hugo was given my dad's name. My dad's name was Hugo. So my family didn't quite like it, but my choice. Yeah, he is like a son. That's something that non-pet people will never understand. He's not so much a pet really as he is a family. No worries, Mark L. We'll be here next week. Thanks for joining. So I got about 2 minutes till the break. And then when we return and get into the subtleties, we'll start our trivia. You can see how much pressure I'm putting on this. I'm moving the whole setup. All this effort to cover, have a flat cover for the background. And when we return, we'll add all the Rembrandt-like subtleties. So that's what I really like about the oil pastels, is that, that nice flat background, just like an oil painting. I'll just cover the whole thing. I was gonna leave a vignette here, but let's cover all the way up to the edge. Way to go through a big portion of this pastel, but that's why I'm using the cheap pastel. And try to get a color that you're happy with for the background. Like buy the actual color. Because mixing a color, and you've seen me do this before, it takes too long to mix a color for the background. So in that sense, you kind of have to let the material be as it's supposed to be. Don't try to force it to be something it's not. What I mean is mixing something for the background is something you want to do with, you know, watercolor, acrylic, oil paint. But with pastel, you're better off just buying whatever color you want for the background. There we go. Got the coverage we wanted. Still some spots up here, but that's okay. And we're about to take a break. So Giselle, you had a hard time getting the finer details with the oil pastel. No worries, that's what we're gonna get into right after the break. Thanks, Giselle, for that comment. All right, so we are gonna take a break. I'm gonna play the video of Hugo, my Shiba Inu, in case anybody is new. I typically play a video of my Shiba Inu during the break. I'm only gone for a couple minutes. Again, don't go anywhere unless you absolutely have to. Let's give him his hair back before we go. Okay, so don't go anywhere unless you absolutely have to. And we will return in just a couple of minutes. returned. So Casella Road, check out the Goodwill carts. Let's see. Art kits are packed with all kinds of acrylics and oil, pastels, and watercolors. That's a good idea. Very good idea. Always better to get it on sale. Every time I'm going to put in a gray, I typically start with this cerulean blue. Yeah, I'm going to have to buy a gray. You definitely want more colors with pastel, with the oil pastel. You can get by with less with soft pastel. But you kind of need it with the oil pastel. Okay, so we've got about 26 here. Anyone that may be new to the streams or haven't been on here in a while, we have recently started doing trivia, art history and materials trivia. So we will start with, when was John Singer Sargent born? When? You need the day, the month, and the year. Whoever gets this one right gets the point. When there's 10 minutes remaining in the stream, we'll have everyone tally up their points. Those who are painting along with us that don't want to do the trivia, you don't have to. It's just something fun, little extra to add to the experience. Also can get us some art history knowledge. Mark Watson, I hope that you're here still, as I know you'd have a blast with trivia. Oh, and that's a wonderful thing. You can drop the pastel and it doesn't break. But if you put too much pressure on it like I did there, it will break. Oh wow, alright, Grace got that one. 12th January 1856. Correct. So let's go to materials. In oil paint, because I know more about oil paint, I guess, than the other ones, but in oil paint, what medium is made out of, what is the name of the medium that's made out of boiled linseed oil? What is the name of the medium that is made out of boiled linseed oil? So close, Uncle Earl. Grace just got that one, just right before you. So in oil painting, what medium is made out of boiled linseed oil? Oh, oh, thanks, Marco. Grace got that one. Stand oil. That is correct. Grace is on fire once again with the trivia. All right, so next one. What is the brand? What is the name of the brand, the company that makes a oil paint palette titled Expressionist Confident? What is the name of the brand? So for 1 point, what is the name of the brand, the name of the company that sells the palette titled Expressionist Confident? Giselle, point goes to Giselle. New Wave is the name of the brand that sells a palette titled Expressionist Confident. New Wave is also the brand that makes this palette called the Highlands. That's where I'm putting my pastels on currently. So very close, Grace, very close. Giselle got that one. Okay. Next one. What is the name of the wooden easel that plein air artists use? The famous wooden easel that turns into a box that plein air artists use. That very easel is actually what's holding this. That's the same easel that I'm using. I've had that easel since I was about 17. For 1 point. And Giselle, stand oil is a slow dryer, and it's the theory I think behind it was when you boil linseed, it has a tendency to not yellow as much over time. So it's a slow drying medium that you can add with solvent, with mineral spirits. You never want to use stand oil on its own. So it's basically just a medium to add to your paint to help to oil painting to help the paint flow, to help the fluidity of the paint. Ellen Pochard, not quite, not that one, but thank you for the answer. Pretty close, Eileen. Tabouret is a table. We're talking about a easel, a wooden easel that's used in plein air that turns into a box. And yes, those other easels do fit the category. Andrew, here comes Viking boy. Andrew B got that one. French easel. French easel. This is actually on a French easel. So you can see right behind is the French easel. So to those that don't know, there are other easels that match that category, but the answer I was looking for was the French easel. The original French easel is made by a brand called Julian. I think there might have been one before that. Okay. So next question for 1 point. What is the name of the pastels that I'm currently using? What is the name of the pastels that I'm currently using? And it's not the ones in the description box. What is the name of the pastels that I'm currently using? Grace got that. Wow, really close between Grace and Andrew. Sennelier. There you go. Sennelier. I know it's tough to read it there. I only asked that one because I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but didn't mention it again. And that's, I don't have a link for it in the description yet because this is only probably like my 5th oil pastel. I've been doing the soft pastels. Cheap pastels, Giselle. That's a good one too, but no, the cheap pastels are these expressionist. These are the cheap ones, like expressionist. Dank Crayola. Good one. Good one. Good guess there. They could be Crayola, but no, they're not Crayola. So let me know, in the comments if you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, or if you're watching right now, if you don't like the trivia. It's just that it's something that I've been adding this week to just have some dialogue, especially when I'm not talking as much. To keep it kind of like that podcast kind of feel. But okay. Next question for 1 point. Rembrandt painted a portrait of a very wealthy person that was a fur trader, a trader of furs. What was the name of the person, the fur trader that Rembrandt painted? Hey Francesco, welcome. What was the name of the fur trader that Rembrandt painted? And a hint, this is one of his most realistic portraits. The only reason I know this is because I did a master study of this one in the past. The Jeanette says pronounce Senalier is pronounced Senala? Senala. Well, thank you, Jeanette. So Senala. There we go. His name was Nicholas, although let me look that one up for a second here. I may have forgotten the name. Nicholas Roots. His name was Nicholas Roots. But the other one, Luceria might have been a preferred trader also. I don't actually know that. But Nicholas Roots. That one goes to Grace. Another point goes to Grace. Yeah, I'm gonna call them the Sen oil pastels. Sen oil pastel. Send it. We'll call them Send It oil pastels. That's a skater talk. Send it. We'll call it Send It pastels. Okay. So the next question, and this one is going to go to anyone that's a dedicated Nelson Shanks fan, or whoever can Google the fastest. What is the name of the elderly man? What's the painting? Sorry, the name of the painting of the elderly man that Nelson Shanks painted. He is a very realistic painting of an elderly man. What is the name of the painting of the elderly man that Nelson Shanks created? Andrew, you said thought it was always pronounced Y-E. Senali? Senali. Who knows? Who knows? Is this a French brand? It looks like it's French. So we'd have to ask a French speaker how to pronounce it. We may be totally off, I don't know, but there's probably one of those YouTube videos on how to pronounce something. Giselle himself, no. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to be really elderly. Lady Diana, no, no, it's not Lady Diana. It's not Lady Diana. It's not Diana. You'll know it when you see it. It's a painting of a really elderly person who has a massive ear. So still an open point there for whoever can get this one. And if it takes too long, if it's too much researching, then I'll just answer it myself and then we'll move on to another one. Again, feel free to let me know if trivia is distracting by any means. I don't want to take away from anyone's experience. Dang! No, it's not that one. It's not the Pope. Uh, he. All right, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to just give the name of it then. You'll know when you look at this one. It's the oldest looking person that Nelson painted, and it wasn't. And Nelson didn't paint uh the Pope the way he looked. He made him look younger. Not that one, Giselle, not that one. Okay, so the Nelson Shanks painting that I'm referring to is titled Mr. Fitting. So go ahead, look that one up if you have time. And you'll know what I mean. Nelson painted Mr. Fitting. I mean, perhaps someone close to 100 years old, I think. I would love to paint someone that's 100 years old, especially if I can, take the picture myself. I wouldn't ask someone that's 100 years old to sit for a painting, but yeah, it seems like 100 years old, close to 100, but it seemed to me. Okay. So next trivia question. Looks like we had a small exodus. A lot of people left. Whoops. Hopefully I didn't insult anyone. All right. So next trivia question. And this will be, who is the fastest to type? And this is going to be a, yeah, Mr. Fitting is a really good painting. I'm gonna do a study of that one as well one of these days. Maybe, you know what, I'll probably do that one in acrylic. Just because. So next question. This is a repeat from before, so whoever was here in the past 2 days will likely remember the answer to this one. So I used to create a series of videos that I would upload daily. What was the name of that series of videos? I used to upload these videos every day, and this series of videos had a title, a specific title for 1 point. Not D. Oh, there you go. Oh, close enough. It was titled The Daily Upari. That idea totally failed. By the way, that daily upload thing tanked. Didn't do well. So again, don't give up. If at first you don't succeed, try and try. I read this funny quote that said, if at first you don't succeed, try 2 more times so the failure is statistically significant. Just some random quote that I saw on the internet. It's pretty funny. Okay. So the next one. Next trivia question. Oh, very close, Andrew. But yes, the daily Upari. You can also take that point. So we got point for Andrew, mainly because he got the order correct. Daily Upari instead of Upari daily. But so Grace and Andrew both have that point. Oh, thanks, Andrew. I did say I would make this somewhat Rembrandt-like. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Add all these little folds and stuff. Okay, so next one. Next up. For 1 point. And we'll make this one another repeat, so anyone that was here before will remember it. Hey Giselle, you watched those while I was on break? Oh, you did? You watched the daily ones? Oh, cool. That's awesome. And so here I thought they like completely tanked. It was tough to try to get people interested in everyday videos. So this one is a repeat. So you'll notice that I'll start to use a lot of repeats. Which artist, what was the name of the artist that had 15 kids? What was the name of the artist that had 15 kids? For 1 point. Alrighty, point goes to Jeanette. Jeanette gets that point. Vermeer, I can see that it was a typo. I can see it was a typo. Very close, Grace. Very close. Vermeer is the artist that had 15 kids. Okay. So next up. Oh, this is a fun one. This is going to be a really fun one. So this is for 2 points. This one is for 2 points. Whoever answers this one correctly gets 2 points. This is a two-part question. So you're going to need to answer two names. What was the name of the artist that challenged an art critic to a sword duel? What was the name of the artist that challenged an art critic to a sword duel? To get the 2 points, you must answer the name of the artist and the name of the art critic. Hey Jonas, welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Giselle. I'd believe that. Okay, that one goes to Grace. Oh, close one, close one. Giselle, very close. Manet and um, Dawntree. Yes, Manet and Dawntree. And yes, and of course I got that information from the not Netflix. Was it on Netflix? Might have been on Netflix, but I think it's still on YouTube. It's a show titled The Impressionists. Okay. So, a materials question now. When an oil painting dries and it looks cloudy, but you still want to work on it, what can you do to bring back the luminosity of the oil paint? When an oil painting dries, what can you do to bring back the luminosity of your painting? For 1 point. Now, anyone who's been watching the videos for a long time will be very familiar with this term. Oh, very close, Jeanette and Giselle, but I did say bring back the luminosity to continue to work on it. So you wouldn't want to varnish a painting to continue to work on it. Varnish is typically a final coat. The point goes to Uncle Earl. All right, Uncle Earl, point goes to you. Oiling out. Uncle Earl is correct. So you oil out a painting, and this is only for oil paintings. You actually don't really have to do this with the water mixables, but what you do is you just apply some medium, typically linseed oil or a mixture of linseed oil and mineral spirits, to your dry painting, and it brings back the luminosity, which is a really nice thing about the pastels, is you kind of don't have to do that. And as you can see, we're starting to build a texture with the pastels that's very similar to an oil painting. Hey, Richard, retouch varnish can work, but that one, I would suggest not using retouch varnish, especially the Camar retouch spray. That's typically not something that artists tend to use anymore. But yes, the first person that answered that one was Uncle Earl. Point goes to Uncle Earl. All right, so here is a really, really tough one. This one is for 3 points. This is to anyone that's been watching the stream, not the streams, my YouTube channel for a long time. Back in the day, I used to upload once a week. I used to upload videos once a week when I first started YouTube on Saturdays in the morning. What time of day would I always upload my YouTube videos? This is back when I first started. What time in the morning would I upload videos back when I first started YouTube? Oh, very close, Grace, very close. Not getting colder. I would usually not wake up at 7 a.m. I guess trick question because it depends on where you live, but in my time. Okay, so this looks like it's process of elimination now. Okay, Grace gets that one. 11 a.m. was Saturdays, 11 a.m. was when I used to upload YouTube videos back when I first started with YouTube. And we're talking about the old school ones, like the one titled Breaking the Rules that got like so many views. I made a video titled The First Portrait Painting Tutorial Zorn Palette. It was around that time. Way back, 2017, 2018, kind of. Those times. Okay, next one. Let's go back to Rembrandt. Rembrandt had a son of whom he did a painting of. What is the name of Rembrandt's son that he painted? For 1 point. It's Saturday. I'm there in Sydney. Oh, wow. Really? Dang, I'm still on Friday. But yeah, I guess I meant my time. Okay, Grace gets that one. Grace is in the lead. I'm thinking. But yes, Titus. Now another one. Rembrandt. In case anyone saw that documentary. Close one, Uncle Earl and Andrew B. Very close. Very close. Oh, it's 11 p.m. over there. Wow, you were watching late. Well, appreciate it. Okay, so anatomical question now for the trivia. What is the name of this plane here where I'm pointing? What is the name of this plane? What is the name of this plane where I'm pointing right now? The plane right in between the eyes, right underneath of the forehead. For 1 point. So that may be true, but it's not the artist's name of this plane right here. What do artists refer to it as? We're very close. So what is the name of the plane here? It's right above of the root of the nose. It's right above the root of the nose. Thanks, Jonas. Suborbital bridge. All right, we're getting fancy here. But it starts with Uncle Earl. So it looks like we're doing a lot of Googling here. So what artists typically refer to the name of this plane here is the glabella. That is the name of that plane. So I get that point. Ha ha ha. But yes, I know that that one was kind of subjective when I say what artists refer to it as. But yes, it's called the glabella. This plane right here, right above the root of the nose. At least that's what it was referred to as when I was in school. Glabella. That's the glabella, root of the nose, frontal ridge of the skull, superciliary arch here. This is the cheekbone. This is the maxilla area here. Okay. Next question here. Finish this Sargent quote. The thicker you paint, the more. Finish the Sargent quote. The thicker you paint, the more. Oh, good. I'm glad you're learning so much. Hopefully, everyone's enjoying this very unique experience. The more wet. Close, but no. Sargent quote. The thicker you paint, the more it what? And of course, he was referring to oil paint. All right, Giselle gets that one with the last word she wrote there, flows. The thicker you paint, the more it flows is a Sargent quote, or at least it's what I was taught. Always feel free to correct me. Very close, Uncle Earl. So the point goes to Giselle. The thicker you paint, the more it flows. Sargent was referring more to oil paint with that. All right, so next one. Bob Ross used to always say this when he would clean his brushes. What would Bob Ross say as he was cleaning his brushes? For 1 point. What would Bob Ross always say as he was cleaning his brushes? All right, point goes to Giselle. I understand. I know it was a typo. Bob Ross would say, beat the devil out of the brush. Which I don't recommend doing, by the way. When you're cleaning your oil painting brushes, you don't want to throw mineral spirits all over the air. Beat the devil out of the brush. Next, to the Bob Ross fans. What would Bob Ross say when he would add a cloud next to an existing cloud? What would Bob Ross say when he added a cloud next to an existing cloud? You can tell he wrote the studio hated it? Oh man, I can see why. He would call it a happy cloud. But what was his reason for adding one cloud next to another? He would say something kind of as a justification for adding another cloud. Okay, point goes to Uncle Earl. He needs a friend. That's what Bob Ross would say when he would add one cloud next to another. He would say, I think he needs a friend. Or he would say, he needs a friend. As he would add one cloud next to another. He would say, it's your world. Well, we got all kinds of Bob Ross quotes here. Okay. So we've got about 3 minutes. So again, that point goes to Uncle Earl. So we've got 3 minutes till the next break. So, point, and let's keep this Bob Ross oriented because Bob Ross is pretty awesome. So let's 1 point to whoever can name one of the animals that was featured in Bob Ross's show. Hey, Jeanette, I can use soft pastels next time, of course. The other ones were with soft pastel. And we'll cycle around. We'll use the soft pastel. We'll use the oil pastel. We'll use them all. So let's see who answered this one first. Did he have a monkey? I don't remember the episode where he had a monkey. So that one I'd have to look it up. But I do know he had a squirrel. So it's split between Giselle and Grace. Did he actually have a monkey in there? I actually don't know if he did. So let me look it up. Oh, you were guessing. Oh, okay. You saved me the time from looking it up. So Giselle gets that point. Squirrel. I do remember the episode where he had a squirrel. Alright, so the point goes to Giselle. Alright, I'm gonna take a break now. So during this break, I will ask a question, and whoever gets this one right first will get 2 points. This one is for 2 points. And you may remember this one from last time, so whoever can type the fastest. Oh, that was Frida that had the monkey. So whoever can type this one out the fastest will get the point. So, name 5 famous artists with the first name John. 5 famous artists with the first name John. And I'm going to take a break. I'll be back really soon. Don't go anywhere unless you absolutely have to. Alrighty then. Let's see. We've got. Okay, we got from Jeanette, John Singer Sargent, but then in separate comments, she has Constable John DeMartin, Waterhouse. And then in between, we have John Constable Sergeant John Martin, someone named Opie, Waterhouse. Oh, this is tough. So Jeanette broke the comments up into individual comments, which might have been a pretty cool tactic, actually. That's a tough one. Right, I know you were writing Constable. Ooh, that's a close one. But given that Jeanette wrote Sergeant, Constable, Martin, and Waterhouse, I think I said 5, didn't I? Thought I said 5. And then we have Giselle wrote Michael Jackson, Elvis had monkeys too. He did? I didn't know that. I did not know. Okay, so the 2 points goes to Grace. And Jeanette, you were right there. You were so close. So close, Jeanette. Just one name off. So you typed in 4 from what I can see. But I think I said 5. I think I said 5. Oh, so close, so close. The point goes to Grace, who is now taking, I think, a commanding lead. So let's start to add more trivia here as we go into the subtleties. We've been in the subtleties for a while, but let's say what is the name of Nelson Shank's wife, who is also an artist? For 1 point. Name of Nelson Shank's wife, who is also an artist. Giselle wrote Mrs. Shanks the third. Nope, nope. Funny one, but nope, nope, not that one. Okay, Leona is correct. Jeanette gets that one. 1 point to Jeanette. 1 point for Jeanette. Okay. Next one. What was the name of the artist that painted abstract paintings that were just no more than 4 lines of color on a canvas? What is the name of the modernist artist whose paintings were no more than, say, I think it was 4, but very minimal. 5 lines of color on a canvas. That's an exaggeration. It could have been less. Okay. Grace gets that one very close there, Giselle. Rothko. Mark Rothko. And I described his paintings really bad. So, good job for you for catching on, even though my description was not very good. Okay. Next question, an art history materials question. What is the name of the yellow pigment that was used in the olden days that was made up of arsenic? What was the name of the yellow pigment in the olden days that was made up of arsenic? And no, it's not arsenic yellow. Okay. So Giselle gets that one very close between Giselle, Jeanette, and Grace. Orpiment. Orpiment is the name of the historical yellow that was composed of arsenic. Correct, correct, correct. Point goes to Giselle. Remember, everyone, keep track of your points. And 10 minutes before the stream ends, we will figure out who is the winner. Oh, you already got the point, Giselle. No worries. You don't have to keep trying to figure it out. You've already got it. Alrighty. Next one. Which painter of the Baroque era was one of the most famous female artists, is one of the most famous female artists of all time? So, which female artist from the Baroque era is one of the most famous female artists of all time? All right, Grace gets that one. Artemisia Gentileschi. Artemisia Gentileschi. She was a Caravaggisti style artist, which meant she worked in a similar style to Caravaggio. And I think she was much better at portraits than Caravaggio was. So very close one there, Giselle. But the point goes to Grace. Okay. So next up. Oh yeah, definitely. Lots of documentaries on Artemisia. So what was the name of the female artist that painted the portraits of Marie Antoinette? What was the name of the female artist that painted the portraits of Marie Antoinette? Oh, again, very close between Giselle and Grace. Very, very close. VJ LeBrun. Elizabeth VJ LeBrun. Very close. Point goes to Giselle. It's neck and neck. Okay. Next up. And this one is for the pigments once again. Why are some pigments titled fugitive? Why are some pigments titled fugitive? Wow, Grace got that one quick. Very quick. They fade. They do fade over time. Such pigments include the original alizarin, and I don't remember the rest, but I know that that's alizarin is the one I was thinking of. Correct. They fade over time. Giselle, I think it's just the pigment itself. Over time, it just fades. That's why you see a lot of pink draperies from I think his name was. This could be a trivia question. Actually, I need to remember his name first. I think it was Joshua Reynolds. But Joshua Reynolds has a lot of kind of like pink looking drapery that I think it's just faded over time. Jeanette, less permanent? Yes, because it's less permanent. The point goes to Grace. She did say that they fade. Is it still an issue? Oh, yeah, it can be an issue if you buy a historical pigment. But I don't think many of us are going to go out of our way to buy historical alizarin crimson. So, no, it's not an issue. It is not an issue. Okay. So, next question. What was the name of the Brotherhood of Artists of which John William Waterhouse was associated? What was the name of the Brotherhood of which John William Waterhouse was associated? Okay, Grace gets that one. Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Killing it. Grace is killing it. Royal Academy of Artists? Not quite, but maybe. He could have actually been, but he's mostly known for being part of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. At least he's known as a Pre-Raphaelite. Okay. Next up. So whoever is able to type this one out the fastest will get the point. This one will be a little bit easier. So you'll most likely know the answer to this one. So whoever can type this one out the fastest will get the point. And the point, or the question, is quite simple. What is the name of my Shiba Inu? Type quickly. Whoever's gonna get that one first gets the point. What is the name of my Shiba Inu? This is down to whoever types the fastest. Wow, that was quick. Very close there. Between Grace and Giselle. So Giselle gets that point. Yep, my dad's name was Hugo. Correct. Yeah, Hugo was my dad's name. That's how important my Shiba is to me. That's how important he is family. Okay. Next question. What is the full name of the oil painting medium that I use that starts with the word, no worries, Giselle, no worries, that starts with the word Neo? Starts with the word Neo, N-E-O. What is the full name of the oil painting medium that I use that starts with the word Neo? All right, Grace gets that one pretty quickly. Neo McGilp. Correct, correct, correct. All right. Now going back to some art history stuff. Caravaggio preferred to use what weapon? What two weapons did Caravaggio prefer to use? He carried around two weapons. What two weapons did Caravaggio carry with him? Ooh, close between Grace and Jeanette. But I think the correct answer is dagger. Sword and a dagger. So very close between Jeanette and Grace, but Jeanette gets the point. Sword and dagger are the weapons, the two weapons that Caravaggio liked to carry. And I know that a dagger is technically, of course, a knife, but the dagger is the correct, the more specific name of that weapon. Okay, next up with Caravaggio, we'll stick with Caravaggio a little bit. What musical instrument that looked like a guitar did Caravaggio often paint? What musical instrument that looked like a guitar did Caravaggio often paint? Okay, very close, Elizabeth, very close. Grace gets that one, the lute. That was the name of that instrument. Very close, very close. Okay. For another point. So Grace gets that point. Let's say... yeah, man. What disease did Manet die from? For 1 point. For 1 point. What disease did Manet die from? Oh, very close, Richard. Jeanette gets that one. Elizabeth had died from a cold, not a cold. It could have actually been, you never really know, but at least what the documentary I watched, The Impressionists, said that it was syphilis. Yes, Manet died from syphilis. That is what happened to Manet. Let's see, another one. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease? Maybe. Well, that's just what the documentary said. He died from syphilis. Oh, thanks, Hansel Dog. No worries. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Okay. Next question for 1 point. So yes, Jeanette gets that point. Next question for 1 point. Which artist did Picasso refer to as his one true master? I don't really like Picasso, but we could throw him in there. Which artist did Picasso refer to as his one true master? Oh, very close between Giselle, Jeanette, and Grace. Cezanne. Correct, correct, correct. Cezanne is the artist that Picasso referred to as his one true master. Paul Cézanne. Very close, very close. But the point goes to Giselle. Okay. Next up, what is the full name, first and last name, of the other artist named Rembrandt? Not Rembrandt van Rijn. There's another artist that shares the name Rembrandt, particularly during the American Revolution times. What was this artist's name? Giselle gets that one. Rembrandt Peale. Another point to Giselle. Neck and neck. Giselle versus Grace. Rembrandt Peale. I think he also painted George Washington. So hopefully everyone's enjoying the trivia along with the subtleties. I'm typically starting to introduce art trivia, especially when I'm in the subtleties stage of a painting. Yes, Rembrandt Peale. So the point goes to Jeanette. Okay, good. I was correct. He did paint George Washington. Okay, this one is a little bit. You're gonna have to do a little bit of research for this one, but it's not so difficult. What is the name of the theoretical physicist that also took up portrait drawing? What is the name of the theoretical physicist that took up portrait drawing? As a hobby, of course. So, Sal, you're using a brush. Just to blend that or just flatten. I used a brush there just to flatten that shape. If we're gonna work in the Rembrandt kind of style, we want these broad shapes to be more flat. That could have been a physicist that took up art. Here, let's make this a little bit more specific. What is the name of the physicist that took up portrait drawing that did work in quantum physics? Feynman, there you go. Oh, close. That was a good try there, Grace, but it was Richard Feynman. Elizabeth gets that point. Richard Feynman was the quantum physicist that also took up portrait drawing, but he did it mainly just as a hobby. Of course, he was Richard Feynman. You could learn almost anything. I read that he also, when he was a kid, he fixed people's radios as a child. Okay, next question, next trivia question. What is the name of a greenish underpainting? What is a greenish underpainting referred to as? Einstein was a theoretical physicist and a portrait painter. I I I did narrow it down to quantum physics, although he did come up with the photoelectric effect, so technically is quantum physics. Though I've never seen any Einstein portraits. Giselle gets that point. Uh, Verdaccio. Grace, very close. A grisaille is a general term for an underpainting. Grisaille means gray. Verdaccio means greenish underpainting. Verdaccio is a greenish underpainting. So, definitely correct me if I'm wrong. If Einstein was a portrait painter, then you can also have that point. Mainly because I didn't know. I didn't know. So anyone, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pulling most of this out of my head. Actually, all of it. Um, I'm supposed to look up flashcards, but it's kind of... I've been playing pool too much. I blame it on the pool. All right. So next one. What was the name of the large war painting that Sargent created? John Singer Sargent created a large painting based on the war that was going on. What was the name of that painting? For 1 point. For 1 point. What was the name of the painting that John Singer Sargent did about a war? Okay, Grace gets that one. Very quick response there from Grace. Gassed. Now, the history behind that painting is quite awful. It was during the time of which chemists were using, I don't remember exactly what material, but they created a gas that basically would blind people, blind the soldiers. Gassed is what it was called. So close one, Giselle. Oh, it was the mustard gas. I used to know what it was composed of. I totally forgot. I think it might have been chlorine. I don't remember. All right, next up. Oh, is that a military camp? I didn't know. Next up, what was the name of the French artist that had an injury to his mouth when he was a child and was ridiculed for speaking funny? The name of this French artist that had a mouth injury and was ridiculed for speaking with a lisp. Or not necessarily a lisp, but he had a mouth injury and he was made fun of for it, basically. All right, Giselle gets that one. David. David was the name of that artist, the French artist that had an injury with his mouth. And a really good documentary on him by Simon Schama. Yep, I know who you were referring to, David. All right. So this is going to be who is the fastest to type out the full name of the artist that painted. And get ready, this is an easy one, so whoever can type the fastest will get this point. What is the full name, first name and last name, of the artist that painted The Last Supper? I suspect this one will be really fast. Hey, Modu. Oh, thank you, thank you. Sky is the limit. Absolutely. Oh, we're actually at the 10 minutes before the third hour. So that one will be the last point of the night. Grace gets that point. The last point of the night. Giselle, so close, so close. That was really just who was going to type it the fastest. Because we all know that you know the name Leonardo da Vinci. We all know that the name Leonardo da Vinci. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed trivia during the subtleties. We'll call it subtle trivia. Hope you enjoyed trivia during the subtleties, also now known as subtle trivia. All participants of the subtle trivia, please write down how many points you had today, and we'll determine who will be the winner. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments. Please feel free to let me know if trivia is distracting for you. The reason I do it is because I want this to be, again, like a podcast type of interaction where you can watch a painting be developed, as opposed to me just saying nothing and painting. Elizabeth got one. Awesome, awesome. Grace is killing it with 21. Richard, yes, that one, the Sergeant one was titled Gassed. Glad you liked the questions. I gotta watch some more documentaries to get more knowledge. I think Giselle got a lot of points as well. Oh, thanks, Jeanette. Grace, you've seen even more documentaries. Yeah, I gotta watch more documentaries. Yeah, this is my first like actual finished looking oil pastel portrait. The one I did the first time was with the cheaper pastels, so I think that's why I struggled with it. Someone did ask me to return to the soft pastels next time, so I'll create a poll. How about that? I'll create a poll on my YouTube. Do you want me to use oil pastel or soft pastel next time? So be on the lookout for a poll. I'll create it tonight, right after the stream ends. If you want me to use oil pastel or soft pastel next time. Yeah, and the goal was to, create a surface like this, similar to a Rembrandt. I think we've somewhat got there. Yeah, definitely BBC on YouTube for sure. And you'd like to see more of the oil pastel, of course. Yeah, I'll create a poll for that one. Andrew, you really like the look you get from oil pastels? Yeah, if you're gonna use oil pastels, I can, at least with this one, you can see that I could somewhat vouch for these, Senala or Sen, who knows I don't know how to pronounce it. The Sen pastels, the Send It pastels, that's what I'm gonna call it. The Send It pastels. And I'm hoping I'll get sponsored by one of these companies at some point and maybe be able to send you some kits. Anybody knows, if anyone knows any of the people that work in these companies, let me know. It would be pretty neat to get sponsored by one of them. I mean, I've had companies send me paints before for reviews, but hasn't been for a while. Jeanette, yes, I did buy individual sticks. Of course I can name them. Oh man, I lost my receipt. But yeah, let's go over that. Okay. Ivory black. Uh, bright red. Ivory black, bright red. At least I think it's called bright red, but it's pretty much just a red light. It's a light red. Yellow ochre. And this other one is, I think, a brown ochre. But they're pretty much the same, yellow ochre. I really like this one, by the way. Cerulean blue. This is, I think, just titled pink. Or flesh tone pink. Pink or flesh tone pink is what I used there. This is, I believe it's a burnt sienna. I think. I'm not quite sure. This is a burnt umber. This one is a medium. Oh, no. This one is a medium. So this is a pigmentless oil pastel. And this one that broke, this is the raw umber. So raw umber. But this one is pretty neat. You'll see. Watch this. It looks like white, right? But it's a medium. They call it a medium. And it's really nice to see that, like to blend with it. It's really nice to use to blend with. But I've only used this a few times. So I can't quite, vouch for it as much as I can vouch for the other materials. But so far, what I can say is it's pretty good. As you can see, I didn't have any problems with it. And the paper that I'm using is the Strathmore toned blue mixed media. Pretty affordable because it comes with 15 sheets. So you can do 15 of these for not that much money. And then you can sell them for a lot of money. How about that? So speaking of that, let me go ahead and sign this one. I know that looks like a 9, but that's a 4. It is not the year 2029 just yet. So Giselle wrote, have oils, so you love to use this. Yeah, I think these pastels are probably the best for, using oil pastel. And I'll post some close-up pictures on Instagram. So like close-up of like the eyes and stuff like that. So I have some little close-up pictures so you can see that it pretty much looks like an oil painting. I'm glad you like the energy that goes into it. Yeah. So congratulations to Grace. I think she has the most points, crushing it with 21 points. So congratulations, Grace, the undefeated champion of subtle trivia is what we're going to call it. We will call it subtle trivia. And as a bonus for tonight, I'm going to show you a close-up picture of what the texture looks like. And this will influence your decision when you vote for either oil pastel or soft pastel. I'll show you what the texture looks like on this one. And I want to take the reference off. This is what the texture looks like on the painting. So you can see it looks kind of like a Rembrandt, doesn't it? The texture that you see on Rembrandt paintings, almost like you're using lead white. So you can see all the texture there. you can see where I used the medium. So all of that texture. Now you can see real close. All the texture there. Doesn't it kind of look like a Rembrandt? Like, you know, the Rembrandt brushstrokes and all that stuff? Like the lead white kind of stuff. At least to me, that's what it looks like. So pretty cool stuff that you can get. And of course, from far away, you don't even notice it. See that? From far away, you don't even notice. Strange how that works. And let's compare it. I'm going to take a picture of a soft pastel, just so it's fair. Just so it's fair. So we'll do soft pastel versus oil pastel. So you can make your decision. The voting will be this weekend. Tonight I will put the poll on my YouTube and you decide which one you want me to do. Okay, so let me add another image there. Side-by-side comparison now. So this is soft pastel is on the right. Oil pastel is on the left. So you'll get to vote which one you want me to do next time. Do you want me to do soft pastel or do you want me to do oil pastel? Now you can see with the soft pastel on the right, the little dots is what I had a problem with. Those dots kind of don't go away, and it's because of the texture of the paper. We can rotate them, of course. We can rotate between soft and oil pastel. Certainly we can rotate them. Here, so the eye is next to the other eye. You can see the difference and let me know what you think. If you want it to be the oil or the soft. So I'll take a little screenshot of this. And yeah, we can alternate in the future, but it'd be kind of fun to have a vote between the two. On the same paper, no. The soft pastel doesn't do as well on the paper that I just used. That one I did the Mary Cassatt on that one. On this paper that I'm using today. But yeah, we can always alternate. We can always alternate. Oh, the Mary Cassatt is on the other one, but I don't quite have a picture of the Mary Cassatt. I'd have to go and take a picture of it. But to be honest, the texture was a little bit worse on the blue paper with the soft pastel. So the soft pastel works better on the Canson paper. Well, thanks, Grace. I'm glad you're enjoying the streams. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the streams. So remember, anyone that may be new, the schedule is Tuesday through Friday, 4:00 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tuesday is watercolor, Wednesday is oil paint, Thursday is acrylic, and Friday is pastel, either oil pastel or soft pastel. So technically we have 5 different materials. that we're using. 5 different materials. Yeah, yeah, definitely gotta use the best paper for each of them. And Giselle, you drew Mary Cassett with the puppy? Yeah, I remember seeing a picture of that one. All right, so this will be the point where I'll ask if there are any last minute questions. Any last minute questions? Then we're gonna head out for the weekend, and then we'll be back on Tuesday with more watercolor. And of course, thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Giselle. Hope you have a great weekend also. Okay, so it looks like there are no last minute questions. Yep, take care, Andrew. Thank you, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching the stream. Those of you that are also watching it as a pre-recorded video, thank you so much for watching. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And I will be back on Tuesday with another watercolor. And as you know, the schedule is Tuesday through Friday, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.